right, we just came from screen 6.
Jeez.
We watched the 5th one last year.
Yes.
Didn't do a review of it. And it's interesting, it's not a reboot, it's just a continuation, but sort of a revitalization of it.
Yes.
By the guys better known as Radio Silence.
Okay.
The producer-director team. They consist of the 2 directors, Matt Betinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillet, and then also the producer Chad Vallella. I think that's how you pronounce it. Our first encounter with them was, I think, the 2014 and 2015 movie Southbound. It's an anthology horror. We screened it at the Horrorfest that year. Yeah. But before that, they started with kind of doing these YouTube bits. And they also did a VHS collection of them.
Which we also screened.
No.
We didn't screen that.
I just bought that on DVD when there was an import sale on one of, I think it was either Take-A-Lot or Loot or somewhere. Yeah, so they've just stepped up. So it's actually very cool to have some indie guys that we've had a connection to that, you know, ended up
that you can say
heading the well, currently besides the Halloween Blumhouse Halloween movies and the Scream franchise started by Wes Craven, Legend of Dead, Nightmare on Elm Street and all of those movies. Before we get started talking about this, we just feel like we should chat about other stuff we watch as well. I mean, we don't just watch horror movies, we watch all kinds of stuff. Comedies, sitcoms, anything that we find entertaining. So we love horror, but we are not bound to it.
No, not at all.
Because recently we caught up on Last Night in Soho.
That's brilliant.
Edgar Wright. Okay, sorry. Sonia, I love saying brilliant.
Last Night in Soho was great.
It was good. It was Edgar Wright is a very good filmmaker. Usually when you used to think of British filmmakers, it was like David Lean, Lawrence of Arabia, or Richard Attenborough, Gandhi, those kinds of movies, you know. His first big movie was Shaun of the Dead.
Oh, yes.
His first of the I think they call it the Cornetto trilogy with Simon Pegg.
That's right.
One of the best zombie movies that came out in the last decade, well, around the decade when that was made. That's also ancient by now. And he went on to do excellent stuff like, you can say that's brilliant when you talk about Scott Pilgrim.
Oh, yes. Oh, my word.
That can be called brilliant without a doubt. And Baby Driver, so his movies are always very visually exciting. And so Last Night in Soho, it's about a young girl, her mom died, and
she's very nostalgic about the age of the 60s.
Yeah,
yes.
and she wants to be a fashion designer.
She wants to be in London.
And she moves to London and starts studying, and then she moves into a room and starts seeing strange stuff and starts kind of get transported into the 60s with this female character played by Anya Taylor-Joy.
Incredibly interesting how they achieve this transition.
Yeah, and very cool reflections, shots and mirrors. But it has horror bits, but it's very much a thriller, a drama, a period piece. Very, very cool blend of all kinds of.
So we watched that. Places.
But now we don't know if we'll get to do a proper review of it. That's why we feel, hey, we're just going to mention it now because we can. Before we get on to Scream. So the Scream franchise has come a long way. Just characters added, building up this entire universe of. It takes the slasher tropes, makes it its own, but also regurgitating it. Like the very first one, everything had to go according to the slasher film rules, and it kind of jumps back into this one as well. You have to lay out all the rules on how this works and who's the biggest suspect, why, But then, obviously it just comes down to a whodunit. Because you have new characters. Is it some of the older characters? But now the two sisters, is it Sam and Tara?
Yeah.
They spill over from the fifth one.
That's right.
They're now in New York. I guess just like Friday the 13th, when you leave Crystal Lake, where do you go? Jason takes Manhattan and go to New York. So from Woodsboro, they take the Scream franchise into New York.
Yeah.
Please help me. Just down in the line here, girl.
So 4 survivors from the 5th one.
That's right.
And Courteney Cox pops in again.
Yeah, and
she's the only character that's gone from the very first
start.
Scream.
It's strange to see her right now because we're also rewatching the Friends series.
Yeah. Every night we watch one episode.
Yeah, so it was odd seeing it so much older.
Yeah. But now also just like with Madonna recently, everyone flipping out the way she looked at the Grammy Awards. You know, if you want to do plastic surgery, I don't care. It's your face, it's your business.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna say anything about it. But it is. I just feel like just like Courteney Cox with Madonna, if they just let themselves aged the way they aged, I think they would have looked fine.
Look, I mean, in Madonna's case, she reinvents herself. So for her, it's expected, and she is something completely different. And it's cool also. Courteney Cox. She's still beautiful. I mean, she's gorgeous. But it was just weird to see her, the young her, and then the much older.
Yeah, actually, it's just an hour or so apart.
Yeah.
And incidentally, tonight's Friends episode, we watched Dermot Mulroney pop in.
That's right, yeah.
And he's in this Scream. He plays a cop.
Yeah. We're not probably allowed to give too much away.
We don't do spoilers. But it's it gets kind of convoluted, but in the end, like I said, it becomes kind of a whodunit.
For me, it was definitely of all the movies, it was the most predictable one for me personally.
Okay.
Yes.
I've sort of lost my memory on these movies from the first one, second, third, fourth. It's kind of a blur to me.
Yeah, the more we went on, the easier it has been to get a very good idea of who the killers are. But this one, it jumped out at me immediately.
Yeah. But I felt that, it's also a case of people get stabbed and then they sort of run off and then they're kind of okay. There were quite a few where you should be bleeding out and then they just don't die. Sometimes people get stabbed once and they're dead.
I think some of the scenes where people survive, maybe they should have thought about how the attack scene would go, because some of it is just.
But I mean, it's an unreal. It's kind of it's not fantasy because it's grounded in reality, but it's just a far out slasher movie. So, the slasher movie rules that got laid down in the very first one. I mean, it's kind of out the window when you start reinventing it, like they do in this one. This one character like now gives the layout of the this and the that and the ins and the outs.
I just feel that if they maybe steer slightly away from the more fantastical and keep it more realistic, it will be a better movie.
And okay, now you are in America, the country with the most firearms on the freaking planet. You're just going to walk around and say, oh, someone took all the knives in the kitchen, and not just walk straight into a pawn shop or a Walmart and say, I will have that gun, that gun, that gun, that gun, this knife, and this fucking samurai sword, whatever. None of these people are armed, and they just say, okay, we must all just stick together, and it's
incredibly trusting.
Yeah, I won't say it's loopholes. It's just little things that when you watch it, you think, what would I do in this situation? Yeah. I would not do that in this situation. Maybe that's just to piss the audience off. And
for me, there was a few moments where I went like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
But I mean, all in all, if you're a fan of the franchise,
that's the thing.
It's fine.
It's definitely for fans.
Yeah.
And you're not just going to go watch this now without seeing the previous ones. You have to have some idea what it's about.
Yes.
Otherwise,
maybe if you see this one and you haven't seen the others, maybe even better.
This one is kind of a sort of a recap of a lot of the stuff.
Yes.
Killers. I mean, it's no big secret. There are different killers across these movies, which is also ridiculous. Every single time, these same people get terrorized by another fucking nut.
But I must say, the one thing that was really cool was the shrine. I thought that was nice, a nice touch.
Yeah, and it's kind of a very much a meta thing going into the. There was a movie made. I think was it Courteney Cox's character Gail.
Yeah, Gail
did she write the Stab book that then got turned into a movie, which they ended up, was it the second or the second one or the third movie?
It's something like that.
Where they're actually on the set of the movie. So yeah, it all feeds into itself and regurgitates and goes around, and you know, fucking Ghostface Killer, same old thing, stabbing people. And ironically, today is Women's World Women's Day.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
We watch a movie that starts off with the woman getting stabbed. It made me think differently.
It's weird. It's like you think at some stage I was very much desensitized to it, but I think now I'm just so sensitive seeing that. It really doesn't sit well with me.
And violence against women, it's an epidemic, a pandemic globally, and just recently with the whole thing in Iran, and just now girls getting poisoned. Is it in Iran or in Afghanistan? Sorry,
Afghanistan.
It's just, and not just getting kicked out of universities. Just their rights getting completely fucking smudged. So women getting stabbed. That's kind of it was ironic that it was today. That's what is kind of the slasher movie staple is women getting stabbed or chased with knives. But
also, why I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of the slasher film because it's not clever. It's not. It's not difficult. And it's almost full moon. And it's just not intelligent for me, and I find it gratuitous.
It's cheap thrills.
Yeah, but
I scream, laugh, and obviously this thing also has kind of bad jokes worked into it. So that's what it is. It's not a serious movie.
Not one moment. There wasn't one scare for me. Not one single.
There was just one jump scare when the guy got tackled.
I wasn't nothing. I was like.
And obviously, I mean, the guys who made the movie, they're all fans of the genre.
No, you have to be.
And so you've got it's set over Halloween weekend, and
I must say,
you've got Michael Myers masks walking around. You've got Jason Voorhees hockey mask. You've got pinheads on mostly in the train station. With a whole bunch of people. There were people from Rocky Horror Picture Show.
I think that's the one very cool thing of this movie is that they can work the character so much into the surroundings and
but also I just feel like it was set in York. Well, they walked around Central Park in one scene, but it felt like New York didn't get utilized enough.
No, I don't think it did. You could see they did a few sort of shots to establish New York.
Yeah, we didn't stay. I don't know if there was a post-credit kind of Easter egg kind of thing. We didn't stay for that, so maybe there was, but I didn't watch to see. Maybe it's probably shot in Canada. They just have a few exteriors in New York, but usually it's shot in Canada.
You wouldn't know, yes.
But
and one thing that was incredibly noticeable to me tonight was I didn't want to kill anyone in the cinema.
Yeah, although
people were fairly well behaved.
Yeah, and people laughed and stuff at the right
times. Yeah.
We also have our rules, like the slasher movie has rules. But we did sit in Whiz Alley though.
We sat in Whiz Alley.
People just kept getting up to go take a leak.
Shame, but
maybe
maybe
the sodas were too big.
The one person was very considerate.
Apologetic.
But he went in front of us going out, but he came back the other way, to disturb other people. I thought that was very sweet of him.
That's the end of our cinema, because the last time we were actually in the cinema was for Halloween Ends over Halloween.
But that time I was so tremendously irritated for the idea of going into a cinema.
But we did that screening for the Horrorfest, and that was like 5 months ago, almost half a year. It's the last time we were actually in a physical cinema.
That's crazy.
We were watching lots of stuff at home, obviously.
Yes, which I prefer, to be honest. Still, even though I had a good experience tonight, I think.
This usually, like the soundtracks, the days of the freaking cool soundtrack is kind of gone. Except for Nick Cave's Red Right Hand.
But they were idiots. You can see it's people that don't really get the significance of the song because they cut out or they faded something else in just before the the chorus kicked in.
But maybe that's deliberate for people who know it.
Yeah, but it just infuriated me. It's just like, let him just get to red right hand, you know? It's like, what the freaking hell?
Maybe that the budget they could only do X
Maybe,
no, I doubt
maybe.
No, for Scream movie, I'm sure they can
and
afford
I mean, it's such a cool song, and it's so nice. It's so appropriate,
It works cool for any scene. The song.
Yeah.
But so the rest of the soundtrack is like some kind of crappy. Whereas I think was it for Freddy versus Jason? I think they had like Roadrunner, mainly Roadrunner artists. So it's like
just sort
a
of
metal soundtrack.
Yeah, we've been rewatching the Matrix flicks just so that we can watch the last one. We just sort of had to re-establish ourselves with the story. And it is just the soundtracks. So cool.
Rage Against the Machine, Rob Zombie, Prodigy.
Yeah.
Except, I mean, besides the actual soundtrack, just the songs.
I mean,
in there.
the soundscape is brilliant, and then you've got this incredible.
And those movies are still so fucking cool. Everyone says, the first one is good, but Reloaded and Revolutions, they're not crap. It's a whole. Watch them as a freaking whole.
If you watch them on top of one another, like we just did.
Yeah.
It's
still, I mean,
awesome.
A quarter of a century later, for fuck's sake.
Man, yes, and Keanu still, he remains just...
John Wick 4 is coming up in a month or so as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know what we should... Are we going to score this? Do we still have to say something about this movie?
No. I think.
Do you think it was necessary to make this movie?
I think if you're a really hardcore fan, yes, it definitely is. It's a good film.
Yeah.
Technically it was well made,
and also
it was the writing was okay.
Also, since the fifth Scream, Jenna Ortega was also in the Wednesday.
Who was she in this one?
She's the younger sister.
The tiny one.
Yeah, with the round eyes.
Okay.
The big eyes.
I don't recognize
she's Wednesday in the Netflix series.
The acting was good. Everything was fine. So yes, it's wonderful for the fans and the franchise that they can still make a movie that stands.
Yeah.
And that's not complete crap.
And it did take some, they had to put some thought into where are we going with this now?
And a few very nice touches with, like I said, the shrine, and there's a few nice touches.
And they brought another character back from the fourth one as well.
That's right.
Who's now an FBI agent.
So all in all, yes, I think it was good. I'm glad they made it.
It's just bizarre, the unlikeliness of this one town and this one set of people being terrorized.
You can say that of every.
It's like Jaws the Revenge.
Yes,
it's ridiculous.
Right. You can say that of every dorpy little villagey with its serial killer. It's like, shame, man.
Yeah.
Move on.
But I mean, copycats and imitators and worshippers.
The thing is like this one with the Scream. It's almost like it's more, yes, you can imagine that people are going to copycat the hell out of this shit. That's more believable than someone copycatting like Michael Myers or Jason Voorhees.
Although people have done stupid stuff like that in the past, but I didn't really...
Yeah, but are we going to score this
yes,
one?
Let's score this. You can go first.
I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10.
I'm with you there. I would have given it like a 5.5, but I'd slip back to 5.
No, it's a solid 5 for me.
Yeah,
it's a solid 5.
Mainly because it is just so well trodden, and there's just we all know this dance,
If you like the dance, it's nice to do the dance every now and again.
Do your jig and
if you can do without the dance, you can. You don't have to.
Yeah.
But yes, 5.
It's fun for what it is. So halfway there is not bad. For a horror movie, for a slasher movie, it's a very difficult genre to not just go, oh, for God's sakes, you guys are just regurgitating.
Yeah, and to keep it fresh, I think. which they've managed definitely to do.
Okay, so then then I'll give it a 6, then it's a 5.5. Then
Okay.
it's just over
Yes.
halfies.
Yes.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah, I think I can work with that.
Okay.
Thanks for watching, and leave a comment. We do enjoy getting comments and being able to chat to people that follow us. Like
Give
and
us-
subscribe.
Or subscribe, like, always give us suggestions. It's always handy.
Yes.
We've done a few of those in the past.
And suggest us to people that you think might enjoy us.
Yeah, share it on your social media. It don't cost you nothing. It don't cost you nothing.
Nothing.
We'll see you next time,
Yeah.
which is next week.
Cool.
Bye-bye.
Bye.